that, Ken.
Well,
I guess
Dave's not here.
You're the sergeant of arms as well.
In the immortal words of Cheech and Chong, Dave's not here.
Knock, knock.
Yeah. Or is he? Did I hear him?
No.
No. All right. Well, I just want to remind everybody that I am recording the meeting today. And do we have a thought of the day? Is our thought of the day person here today?
No, I don't think, I think she had a conflict.
And I don't have, does anybody have a thought of the day for us?
Ken,
Yeah, Sam,
I got a view of the day.
let's check it out.
Let's see if it works here. I'll run outside here. See if anybody can guess where I am.
Oh, you're at your office.
I'm over in Manson.
Wow.
Ah.
I can't see the lake, but yeah. Well, cool. I love Manson. You'll be hitting the wine girl tomorrow.
That's all I had for today.
Sam, that's an important contribution.
Okay, so I have Sam, so we'll have the Sam's kind of give stuff. I have one.
Okay.
Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good.
I think if you want an inspiration for the day, just look at Kendra on the screen. There you go.
I've been
Okay.
waving to the kiddos.
I don't know if inspiration is the right word.
Hey, Mom, tell them we're
For what
getting
I'm
a
feeling
new
right
cat. Tell them we're getting a new
Yes.
Well, most of us have already been through having children in their formative years, and we look wistfully back upon those days, not realizing that and remembering that was a lot of work.
I think Maya was trying to tell us that they're getting a new cat.
Oh,
Yes, we are. And she's very excited. So she wants everyone to know.
awesome.
So how are the cats and the chickens going to get along?
Have you named the cat yet?
Well, no, we're waiting till we meet her in person. We've seen pictures, but we haven't met her in person. She's very little, so we won't get her till the second week of June. She's only like 3 or 4 weeks old now.
Hi.
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 Hi, Maya.
That's so cute.
Ah.
I don't know if our guest is here yet, but Danny Tetzloff, who is the general manager of the Everett AquaSox, is going to be joining us later. Is that right, Don?
Yeah, that's right. He'll probably tune in about 15 after 8, maybe a little earlier.
Okay, perfect. All right, birthdays. Mayor Gailey, you had a birthday last week. Where'd you go?
It was actually this week, and yes, I did.
This week. Yeah. How was it?
The big 5-0 for the retired 5-0.
Wow. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
You got your AARP card in the mail.
Is that what triggers it? Is 50?
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about it.
It's like my dad used to say, I'm old, give me free stuff.
Does that mean I have to go to the Golden Corral at 4 now?
Better be there by 3:30.
Yeah.
You can meet Larry there.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday. And that's fantastic. Sean Frederick's birthday's on the 8th of May. And Scott Smith's got a birthday coming up on the 13th of May. You know, I think since we weren't able to sing for Brett, you know, in the meeting preceding his birthday, I think that we should give him some options on singing today. Brett, you can have us not sing. You can pay to have us not sing. You can pay to have the whole group sing, or you can pay a larger amount of your choice to have Sam sing Happy Birthday.
So either way, I'm paying.
That's the way it works.
Pretty much.
I thought the way it worked was if he doesn't pay, then we all sing.
Well, I
think that's
suppose if I pay, I'm okay with that. But if I hear everyone sing, it may be paying in a different manner of
Yeah.
monetary issues. So maybe let's go with Sam. I'll pay the extra.
You're on.
There we go. You ready,
I'm ready.
Mr. Brett? Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brett. Happy birthday to you.
Perfect, Sam. I felt just like JFK.
Perfect.
Mr. Mayor. Yeah.
I was
All
going
right.
to do that, and then I thought, oh, no. I'll just say Sam.
Keep him humble, right?
All right, we got spouse birthdays this past week. Bev O'Reilly had her birthday on the 25th. Happy birthday, Bev. Was it a great birthday party? Did you score points, Gary?
Yes, I did. I
Awesome.
organized it, I had both daughters and their families up here, and her sister and brother-in-law, who live about 25 yards from us. And I bought her a new Kindle, which she was really excited about. Her old one's starting to give out, so she was happy.
Man, that's a lot of coordination and work. You must be a retired lobbyist.
I must be.
Yeah. And Carrie Morehouse had a birthday this last week. Lance, how'd that go?
I went well. I was able to give her some commissioned art from Jesse Jorstad that is beautiful. And she had Thai food, and we're going down to Seattle tonight to spend the night.
Fantastic. I just want to remind all you saps out there who have wives and children that next weekend is Mother's Day weekend. Just a reminder. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Okay, because I forget all the time. Dean, Deb France, your wife, has a birthday coming up on the 3rd. Are you ready? And don't give her something from her shop. Don't buy something from her own shop and give it to her, please.
No, I actually, we went, did an early celebration of her birthday. We went to Camino Island and looked around and did some shopping, and went up to Stanwood. Boy, Stanwood is really hurting right now. If anyone wants to help the local economy, go up there. There's that and La Conner. Those two towns are really hurting right now. Anyways, we did a little trip up there and saw some of the tulips. They were kind of a little bit late. Had a good time and bought some. She wanted this really fancy dancy bird feeder, so I bought her. That's one of her birthday presents, is the bird feeder. That's what she wanted, so that's what I got it for her. So.
Good job, Dean.
Yeah.
And
Look at,
Kristen Odegaard, your husband, Gabriel, has his, or you and Gabriel will be married for 16 years on May 6th. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. I made it for after Cinco de Mayo, so he would remember. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, that's a dang good idea. See, you're always such a good planner. I would never think of things like that.
I got my wife's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, I didn't know that. That wasn't on the deal. Well, happy anniversary, or your wife's birthday.
Yeah, so I'm doing the Gary O'Reilly and organizing the families and the kids and the grandkids and stuff we're gonna go hang up at the house in Skagit and hang with them.
Cool.
Well, have a great time and tell your wife happy birthday for us. All right, Rotary anniversary, Scott Smith, 24 years, Scott, on May 2nd. On Sunday. Gosh, congratulations. And Senator Hobbs's anniversary with Rotary is 16 years on May 9th. All right, let's move on to reports. Gary, secretary report.
Just the board meeting is the only thing that I have, but the other thing that I want to mention is we're doing scholarships right now, and I'm not taking away from Lance's discussion, but I want to mention that he turned in at least 50 hours worth of service so far. And anybody that's on the committee, I asked them to send me a note telling me how much time they have spent on this endeavor, because we have to, I'll turn it in after we're all done on our service activities for vocational services. So just let me know. That's it.
Thanks, Gary. Treasurer's report, Chris?
Yeah, so it looks like nothing's really going out yet. I know we have scholarships coming up, and I'll get with Lance in a little while here and kind of cement that into place. And so the Venmo's coming in, the Happy Bucks are coming in, so that's kind of nice. So we're moving with that. So short report, and that's about it.
Thanks, Chris. My report, we're targeting, I've been working with our tech department here to have a hybrid Rotary meeting here at the district office on the 14th. However, I think everybody knows that cases have gone up in Snohomish County quite a bit, but the testing numbers are down. So I think that hopefully those numbers will start to drop, I think in the post-spring break, post-Easter kind of rise that we've seen. So we'll keep monitoring those numbers, and I'll keep you posted. I am going to send out just kind of a questionnaire for you to get back to me on how many members would attend in person, so that we would have an idea. I'm kind of figuring out the sweet spot on when to send that message out, because some people may make a decision late, but I kind of want to get a count so I can arrange the furniture appropriately with social distancing and all the things that we need to do to make sure that that happens. And if people want to continue doing this, they could certainly let me know that as well. But I'm kind of tired of looking at everybody as part of the Brady Bunch. I'd like to see everybody in person. Anyway, that's one thing. So that's May 14th, the second Friday in May. The second thing is, we've been talking a lot about how to kind of replace AquaFest now that AquaFest is not happening. We've talked about making our presence at the farmers market over the course of the summer, and doing our Pirates Plunder with our coin raffle during that time, and using that as our venue to get that word out. I think we need to talk more about that. And rather than doing that today, what I'm going to do is plan on doing it after the Rotary meeting next week on the 7th. Is that the 7th? Yes, the 7th. So if you want to talk about that, so our plans for the summer, because we're kind of on a time crunch now. We got to start thinking about sponsors, and if we're going to do this, we need to get on the stick. So let's plan on staying after the Rotary meeting next week. I can't do it today, but next week to talk about that. If everybody, well, if you're in for that, give me a thumbs up.
Hey, Ken, really quick, the scholarship committee, because it's right after interviews, we were going to utilize time after the meeting to go over the final interview scores as well.
You're killing me.
I know.
Let me try to find a time. So, well, what time you guys want to meet? We got board meeting in 2 weeks, right? I want to meet before the board meeting, though. Do you think we should do that?
Yes.
Throw out a good time for everybody.
Sometime next week, maybe Thursday afternoon, 4 or 5 or something like that.
Okay. I will, I'm just looking at my calendar here. Sorry,
Ken.
No, that's okay. Let's plan on, yeah, we could do it next Thursday at 4. Sound good? Okay, I'll email everybody. Sorry for the delay. Okay, moving on to past president's report. Lori.
So nothing to report here. Everything's calm in the past.
Thanks, Lori. Rochelle, is she on? President-elect?
Who?
Rochelle Ploger? Bueller? Committee reports, club services, Keith.
Morning. First, steel cutouts. Sorry, steel cutouts was breakfast day. We had leftovers. It was great. It was just couldn't be happier. Rainy day, you know. Figure
always a good choice.
Thank you, Kyle, for the email and the other feedback that I've gotten as far as our cohort goes. You know, we're still, you know, kind of working on that. And then we're gonna have to work out a time. I know there's a lot of folks trying to work out times that we can kind of meet and discuss that further. And my schedule's been a little wonky lately, but that's where we're at. Anybody that has feedback or wants to provide input, please go ahead and do it. I'm kind of gathering everything together so that we can try to see how this is going to work best for everybody. I think at the end of the day, the consensus is we want to make sure we're still all one club and we have an alternate meeting time for people. Maybe that's, you know, once a week like ours is now. Maybe it's a couple times a month. But we want to make sure we have an alternate time so we can get more people involved. And then we want to make sure that we have a cohesiveness with our volunteering and with, you know, some of the social things that we do outside of our regular meeting. That's how we're going to kind of make sure that we stay all as one cohesive unit. So that's where we're at so far.
Thanks, Keith. I don't think Eileen's here, so we'll skip community services. Membership, Ron?
We're all good. I'd love to see the Brady Bunch screen again is full. Let's keep that going, and hopefully soon that we're all in person.
Be nice. International, Tracy.
Yes, we have a group in Honduras as we speak. So I'm excited to hear about their trip when they come back. A couple of us got organized and wrote a little note and sent it with. So excited to see the response from the kids. And part of this, each child who is sponsored is supposed to write a letter to us. So expect a letter to come back. So it's very exciting.
Cool.
That's all I have.
Thanks, Tracy. Interact, Kristen.
Well, we were unable to have a meeting this week. We haven't been approved to have hybrid meetings yet. And since some kids are in person and some kids are at home, coming up with a time to meet right now is a little bit of a challenge. But as soon as we do, I will let you guys know. We submitted our budget to the ASB for next year. We still have participants attending Yale. I got to listen to about an hour of it last night, and it is incredible. What a great experience. So again, thank you to everybody. May 22nd, we're going to clean the street in front of the high school again. Hopefully the weather will cooperate a little bit better than last time. And with our walk, run, roll against bullying, our club has moved almost 400 miles. As a whole, the whole program has gone around the earth 1.5 times. So it's pretty cool that people are out there doing stuff. So that's my report.
Thanks, Kristen. Lance, vocational.
All right, well, we're in the deepest midst of scholarships. So quick review, we had 14 college-bound applicants and 1 vocational applicant. So 11 judges of this fine club scored those applicants, and we chose our top 10 to interview. And interviews are happening Wednesday and Thursday of next week. I've got at least 6 people lined up for each date. So hopefully that's not too overwhelming for the students to have that many people on the interview panel. So did some calling yesterday, trying to fill in the slots. We're doing it by Zoom, 20-minute time slots, and I've got about half of them full, waiting to hear back from the rest of the students. Interesting this year, Dean, I don't know if you ever ran into this when you were making these calls and organizing. I called everyone, and I get a call back from one of the students who would like to decline their scholarship and allow somebody else to go in their place. And so that's what she said to me at first. And then she said, because she got a full ride scholarship, that she's got her 4 years of college paid for with nothing out of pocket. So that was kind of cool. She was our number 2 scored applicant. And so I told her, congratulations. I've not gotten back to the committee to see if we want to interview one more, but definitely going forward with the other 9. So just a couple of dates to put on your calendar. I worked with Don Iverson. We were originally going to do the Rotary Awards on the 21st, and I now have that scheduled for this meeting on the 28th, where we would invite the students and their families that are going to receive scholarships to come. And if we're in hybrid by then, I figured that would give us a meeting or 2 to practice before we invited the general public. And then talking to Kim LaFortune, June 2nd is going to be the high school awards night, where we used to do that in person. It's going to be by Zoom again this year. I've got no details other than that yet, but I'll send that out to the whole club. Everyone is welcome to attend. It's where all of the students and all the groups that are giving scholarships present those scholarships to the students. It did work pretty well last year by Zoom. Sam Lowe and I will give out the scholarships on behalf of the Rotary. And that's my report. Any questions?
Very nice.
I have a question. Just to clarify, who moved the scholarship breakfast to the 28th?
Correct.
Okay.
It'll be two meetings back to back, with ours on the 28th and the school on the 2nd. But I wanted to give us a little bit more time to figure out the hybrid meeting thing, if that's what we were going to do.
Perfect. If we're hybrid, then on the 28th, I will do breakfast. I'll bring something. We'll figure something out.
We might want to talk about whether or not that's what we want to do.
So what Ken suggested and what I'm taking forward to the committee is that those of you who want to meet in person, if we're meeting in person at that time, can come, and then we would invite all the students and families by Zoom.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. But thank you, Tracy.
Next year.
Yes.
Yeah. No kidding. Keep saying that. I keep saying that and clicking my heels together 3 times. Thanks, Lance. Rochelle's not here. Foundation, Jim. Welcome back, Jim.
Yeah, I guess it's nice to be back. I don't know.
Very enthusiastic.
Gotta come home sometime. I am kind of getting back together here. I'll be sending out an email to everybody on a bunch of foundation information this week. So look for that in your mailbox, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Jim. Okay. We got about 2 or 3 minutes for Happy Bucks. I think I'll skip fines today. Because obviously I'm the front running candidate to get fined, but anyway, we'll do Happy Bucks. If somebody would like to donate Happy Bucks.
I'll do a Happy Buck, $5 for Lance and for all the work he's putting in on the scholarships.
I second that.
I'll third that. Thanks, Lance. You're wonderful.
And I'll put in $5 for all the help that I've gotten from you guys. So there you go.
I'm going to do 5 Happy Bucks that Jim Hagan is wearing a shirt today.
Yeah, I know. It's tough to be back, but I'll give it $20 plus the 5 for Lance's efforts. It's been 3 hours a little much to handle, but it's nice to see everybody again.
John, I was thinking about you yesterday, so I'll put in 5 happy bucks. I actually met with the Marysville Police Chief, Eric Scarpon, yesterday. Nice guy.
Good guy.
So if your ears were burning, we were talking about you a little bit. So just wanted to increase his opportunity to work with local communities and including school districts in those. And because obviously our school district spills over into the Marysville city limits, he wanted to make contact with me. So really nice to meet him. And we identified some mutual friends that we have. So that was really nice.
Good guy, good
meeting
guy.
yesterday.
Well, I got a happy dollar for Lauren on his Tesla. I'm still jealous of that, Lauren. Your Tesla, good for you. Congratulations. One of my employees bought a Tesla as a Model 3. Isn't that what you have, Lauren, as a Model 3 Tesla?
It's a Model 3.
Yeah, nice car. Sweet little car. Don't have to worry about it accelerating, that's for sure. Was it 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, I think. Nice.
Well, Lauren can do better than that.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the world's safest car.
I want to see a Rotary challenge because I think Sam Lowe's got one of those too, doesn't he?
Yeah, I got one. In fact, over in Manson, we got 3 of them here in the driveway.
Cheap power.
Yeah, it's actually blaming Sam for Dad's Tesla. I think it's Sam's fault that he bought a Tesla.
What kind of Tesla
I love
do
it.
you have,
Everybody
Sam?
should get one.
What kind of Tesla do you have?
I have the Model 3.
Yeah, nice.
Sounds like we've got some drag races set up. Woohoo! My money's on Lauren.
A bit of news. The county council on yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, passed the annexation. So the annexation will take place on, I believe it's July 16th for the 2 areas of the 2 southeast areas of the lake. So the Lake Stevens will encompass the entire lake.
All right, cool.
Well, that's my area. So what date was that?
I believe July 16th. Sam might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so that date I'll be in the city then. Awesome.
That's correct.
Wow.
I'll have some of my guys parked outside your house, Chris.
Your tax bill goes up then.
I'll have to use the Bat Cave to get home then.
No, buy a Tesla. Then you can get in the race with the rest of them.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to put an end to Happy Bucks. We're very happy today. I think we're just all happy it's Friday. So we have a member giving a classification talk. Is that right, Don? I'm going to turn it over to you and you can introduce that.
Sure. That's the plan. We actually have two folks today. Brian's going to be doing his classification talk. And then we'll have a few minutes for questions and answers for Brian. And then we have Danny Tetzlaff, who's the GM of the Everett AquaSox, planning to join us about 15 after to do us a little quick presentation, if you will, about opening baseball season in Everett and the world of COVID-19 and how that's going. Hopefully it's going well. So with that, Brian Rewis, you're on.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you very much for the opportunity to tell you guys about myself, which I absolutely hate to talk about myself. So bear with me. I'm probably going to and stutter a ton because I'm in a business where I like to try to get to know other people. So they'll tell me their story so I can help with their insurance, right? So a little bit about me. I'm a native Texan. And here's a joke for you. How do you know if somebody's from Texas? They'll tell you. And if you forget, they'll tell you again. So we moved from Texas in November of 2016. And we were tired of the heat. It was just incredibly hot. We needed a change and decided we're going to move up here. My brother-in-law lives here, so it's not like we just packed up the truck like the Beverly Hillbillies and just left. It kind of looked that way though. But my wife and I met back home 24 years ago, and we actually met in a pool hall one night. We were both hanging out with different groups of people and met, and just literally hit it off the first night. So that we met each other, and we're inseparable since. And it's been now 24 years. It's been like 5 minutes underwater though, so it's been great, as any of you know, being married. But we have 2 sons, and one is now 20, and when we moved here, he was 15. Matt is anything that we're taking him from everything he knew to go to another state. And then we had a 13-year-old at the time that now is 18. And my son, the 20-year-old, just finished boot camp, Navy boot camp, and now he's in A school. So we're excited to see what he's going to do. My oldest son, senior, is 18 going on 30 or so is what he thinks. And he works with an excavation company. So, one of the big things for me was volunteering. It's always been something that I've enjoyed doing in my life. And I volunteered within our church back home a ton. I coached my son's teams, football, soccer, and everything else as much as I could, just simply because if you're around your kids, you know their kids, you know their friends, and you kind of get an idea to figure out who they're hanging out with and what they're doing. So that was a big, huge blessing for me to get to know their friends and see what they were doing in life. So, early on, when Cassie and I met, I was actually shucking oysters at an oyster bar. Literally not a care in the world. I didn't care what I was going to do. I'm just having a great time and, whatever. So, Cassie introduced me to her dad, and her dad was an adjuster for 30 years with farmers already. And he was telling these great stories about claims and this and that. And I'm thinking, this is going to be awesome. That's what I want to do, And so I had to grow up real quick and get a real job and stop shucking oysters, stabbing my hand and everything else, and put down that stupid oyster knife, which was probably the blessing. But so I'm thinking I got to get into adjusting somehow, and farmers sound like a great company. So I actually got into an agency that was hiring. It was a new agency. I actually met with the owner, one of the owners, who was a husband and wife, and she had me fill out my application on a sheet of paper. She didn't even have applications. She didn't have a clue really what she was doing, hiring or anything. It was actually really cool though. But I actually got the job because I looked like her brother. So she's like, this is easy for me. And so I went in, and I was just a CSR, just a customer service person. And as I'm working in the agency and I became a producer, I started, writing policy a whole lot more. And I started thinking about all the claims stories my father-in-law had. And while I'm writing policies, the customers would tell me their horror stories of claims. And as I'm listening to this, I'm looking at their policies as I'm moving them over to farmers, and I'm writing a new policy. And I'm like, you could have been covered if you had this, right? So I found out I don't want to be the guy that's not writing the policy correctly, because the poor adjuster, but even more, I don't want to be that adjuster that has to adjust a claim that the policy wasn't written properly. So I dodged that idea real quick, changed my mind, stayed in the agency. I guess I've been an agency producer for 17 years back in Texas, and then here for 2 years, and now an agency owner of my own since August. And it's exciting. A friend of mine said, why is anybody going to buy insurance from you? And he said, is it your smile? And I was like, God, no, I don't have that great of a smile. But even more, we wear a mask now. So nobody's going to see that ugly smile anyway. So it's not going to help me at all, But so, now we move here. We literally look like the Clampetts. I say that because if you've seen the Clampetts with all their stuff piled up, we own 3 vehicles. And remember, my son was 15 at the time. He had a permit, which is awesome because we had 3 drivers. So we had a big U-Haul, a Jeep on a trailer. We had our Suburban with a trailer with other crap on it. We had a F-350 with a bunch of crap on it. And we're trying to figure out this driving situation. So we're like, Zach's permit legally with an adult, he can drive. So we load my mother-in-law up, in the Suburban with him. And we literally drive up here, and it was Zach has a flat, the trailer's got a flat, and he's just cruising down the road, and we're trying to tell him, hey, you know, it was just bizarre. How do you not feel it? 15 years old, right? So anyway, we learned real quick, but we made it here safely. We already had jobs lined out, but what's really cool, the blessing of, we actually got our house on the drive up here. My brother-in-law, who's a real estate agent, called and said, I found you a house. It's a great house. It's owner finance. There's a friend of mine. Originally, we thought we were going to be in Monroe, so we already had the boys signed up for Monroe schools. And I'm like, Lake Stevens? I've been here once before to the Target, and I thought this is Lake Stevens. I'm like, I don't like that town. It's got a Target, a Safeway. It's nothing. I don't know. Not Safeway. Not. He's like, it's a great house, and it's not what you think. So we literally pulled in, and you know, we loved the house, and I was still sketchy about the area because I'm like, it took me 5 months before I knew there was an actual lake just down the road from my house. I didn't understand Lake Stevens. I thought it's probably not really a lake. It's just what it is. So when my son and I drove down there, I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. I mean, literally, as I drove around the lake, I'm like, I feel like I'm in a resort. I mean, this is awesome. The lake is beautiful. There's not a lot of commercial on the lake because back home, if there was a big lake, you had marinas, you had music, and it was just all commercial. This is beautiful residential, some parks, and I'm like, this is great. So we make it up here. We didn't think we'd find a church, and after kissing a couple frogs, we end up at Life Point Church, which we absolutely love. We volunteer heavily within our church, just want to give back, and so we had the opportunity to be able to volunteer and with those guys. And then I believe the skate park was either being built or was just finished. And I remember talking to somebody and they said, oh yeah, the Rotary was a part of that. And I was like, I want to be a part of Rotary. However, up until August, I had a boss that wasn't real cool with time. It's here's your job, and that's it, you know? So I didn't bother looking too much into it. I kind of blew it off. And then now my boss is totally cool with me volunteering my hours or whatever. He says, just do what you want. And so I truly have decided that, you know, with that, I see what you guys have done in the community. And I think it's very important for us to give of ourselves, help as much as we can. And for me, it's anything to do with our youth or our elderly. Those are the two, because if you don't give kids something to do, guys, they're going to find something to do. And I don't want my kids finding something to do, because odds are it's not the right thing to do. Not me. I grew up in the country as a kid. I mean, there's a reason why you shouldn't climb windmills. There's a reason why you shouldn't play in barns in the middle of summer. And even, yeah, so that's kind of where we're at now. You know, looking to see my oldest son graduate. We're going to become empty nesters, which will be extremely odd. You get your kids ready to move out. You're prepping them and to be an adult. But there was nobody that prepped me for my son to one day just leave. And I'm like, where'd this dude go? And now I've got the other one, you know, on his way too. And it's like, man. So we're excited. We're looking forward to what the next chapter brings. I'm looking forward to what I can help with at all in Rotary and what I can do in our community. So I appreciate you guys accepting me into the club. And that's it.
Great. Question for you.
Yeah.
How does a 15-year-old and actually the rest of the family adjust to moving from Texas to Lake Stevens from a weather and climate standpoint?
Oh, you know, the adjustment honestly was easy because, well, so let me rephrase this. My wife and I, it was simple. I mean, it's 110 degrees from June till September. We had a pool in our backyard and nobody wanted to go to it because it was so hot. You had to walk across hot rocks. You had to forget it. So as far as that goes, it was relatively easy. I learned that down here you have cool temperatures. If I want that blast of heat, I go across the mountain over to like Cheney or Manson, which I absolutely love that area. That's one of my favorite areas now. So you have the heat. My 15-year-old learned how to snowboard. I mean, we literally have everything. He has a dirt bike. So he goes over to Moses Lake, rides his bike. Here, he goes out on a lake with his buddies and wakeboards. In the winter, he goes up to the mountain and snowboards. So as far as he's concerned, this was the best thing we could have done. So as far as acclimating to it, it's been relatively easy. The only thing, I don't care about the rain. I love the rain. It's the number of cloudy days that does get to me. That's still kind of like, man, you guys have, and then this is something else too. Not trying to complain here, but I hear on the radio, it's raining. We've got bad traffic because of the rain. Okay, I get it. But then when it's sunny, now we have sun glare. What is it with the drivers? Honestly, if you can't drive in the rain, you can't drive in the sun. I'm just curious, what are we supposed to do? So as far as acclimating to the weather, it hasn't been too bad. At the time, 15-year-old, he was mad as hell that we did this. I mean, at first he thought it was exciting. Then he gets here. And then the big thing is my boys were brought up a little different. It's sir and man behind everything they say. And I had to sit down with a couple teachers, actually at Monroe School District, who kept telling them to stop saying that. And it's just, it can't happen, not in my house. So we had to respectfully explain why they do that. So it was a little different with some of those things. The weather, not so bad. It was relatively easy.
All right.
Hey, Brian, since I lobbied in Texas for 16 years, my boots have the Texas logo and the saying across the top, "Don't mess with Texas." So the next time I see you in person, I'll try and wear those boots.
There you go. There you
So
go.
Brian, most people have figured out the cure for the cloudy days, and that is in February, the sale of antidepressants goes way up. So there's a hint.
Well, I'm hoping not to take that avenue, but who knows? We may end up there one day.
Or you moved to Arizona, right, Harry?
That's going back to the same thing, probably.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, Brian, since I moved to Lake Stevens, I moved here about 11 years ago now, and it was the same thing for me. I thought Frontier Village was Lake Stevens for 6 months before I realized there was a downtown Lake Stevens.
Yeah, it honestly I died laughing because as we're driving around the lake, I'm like, hey, there's some more stuff over here, And so, yeah, it was pretty interesting. That's for sure,
Brian?
Yes, sir.
Your son has been hanging out with my son, Seth, for the last year.
Yep.
And you got a good son there, and just really enjoy getting to know him and thankful that he's a mentor to my son, Seth. So
that's good to hear because you know how it is. Anytime your kids are out, you hope that they're gonna do the things that you've taught them to do, right? I mean, and honestly, likewise with Seth, he's a good kid. He makes me laugh, and yeah, we're blessed that Josh has friends like that he's able to hang out with, and honestly too, it's a big deal for us that we get to know Josh's friends because then we get kind of have an idea of what even family's like, and so he speaks highly of you as well, to be honest with you. So yeah, we appreciate it.
Well, you guys are all welcome to come over anytime, you and your whole family.
Thanks, Sam.
All right. Well, I'm going to introduce our next speaker now, who also moved to the area about 5 or 6 years ago, it sounds like, or maybe a little bit more than that. But Benny Tetzlaff is the general manager for the Everett AquaSox. And he's kind enough to give us a little discussion about opening the next season up here in Everett. In the world of COVID, I'm sure things are a little different, and there's other news too, I'm sure. He's been the general manager of the AquaSox since 2015, and he is formerly from North Carolina, from the Winston-Salem area. So with that, Benny, you're on.
Hey, Danny, I'm going to have to interrupt you. You sound, I don't know, your sound's way off. For some reason, we're getting like barely Donald Duck.
Sound like Alvin.
There you go. There you go. Wait a minute. Now I can't hear you at all. Hey, could you log off and log back on? Sometimes that helps.
Yeah, or either that, or you could try calling the phone number on the email that I sent you. That might work too. But try the log off, log on first.
Oh, that made me laugh.
The best thing ever right there.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a hard time translating that when I try to put together the website article.
It sounded like he was in a room filled with helium.
I thought it was one of Kendra's kids at first.
He's muted.
I think even them have a lower voice than what just happened. Even they do.
It sounded like a voice filter.
I thought it was the Lollipop Guild.
I didn't even want to interrupt him.
Glad you did. That would have been kind of a. Is this any better?
It's better. Yay.
I don't want to be Donald Duck, even though some people might have other names they call me. Donald Duck wouldn't be the worst thing, I guess. But please interrupt if the sound gets bad again. So, yeah, we're getting ready for the 2021 season here in the world of COVID. It's quite a bit of a lot of changes, lots of challenges. The first thing that really impacted us even before COVID was the change in the structure of minor league baseball. For about 100 years, we'd had two separate organizations, minor league baseball, major league baseball. We had a nice little partnership that we agreed on every 5 or 10 years. We just re-upped the agreement, and Major League Baseball provided the players, and we took care of a lot of things on our end, and we would provide the stage, and they would send us the actors. But now, when that agreement ended in 2019 or 2020, they wanted to restructure how it's set up. Major League Baseball took over a lot more of the management of minor league baseball, more so than they've had in the past. And that brought a lot of changes. It also brought a lot of challenges and a lot more expenses on our end. So we're getting through that. But I think Major League Baseball didn't realize what all we did behind the scenes to make it work, seem smooth and seamlessly like it did. So we're still getting through a lot of that. So we're figuring out who's paying for what and logistics on a lot of things. And I had a team, I had 35 guys show up yesterday from Phoenix, and we're still figuring out what we're doing with everyone. So that's quite a change. But hey, we got ball players here. We start next week on Tuesday. We actually travel. Our first trip is down to Hillsboro, which is a city outside of Portland. We play the Hillsboro Hops, and they are the affiliate for the Arizona Diamondbacks. But with all the changes for the underneath MLB, they did away with a few minor league teams in a couple areas of the country, but we are now the high A affiliate for the Mariners as opposed to a short season club like we've been since 1984. So that means we have a longer season. We're going from playing a 76-game season that will start in June to a season that's normally would start in April and go through Labor Day, and we would play 132 games. So we'll have 66 games at home as opposed to only 38 in the past. This year, because of COVID, they did a little bit of restructure. We're starting in May, but we're going through mid to late September. So we will end up with 60 home games this year. And then obviously COVID has impacted us quite a bit. We have to follow the rules of MLB, Major League Baseball, and the rules of the state of Washington. So we're limited on number of fans we can have at the ballpark. We're limited to 25% capacity. That may go up, but they also want you to make sure you have 6 feet between different parties of fans. So we have to do the socially distance requirement as well. So even if they tell us we can increase our capacity to maintain the social distancing, we really can't add any more seats. So we're going to be limited to about 800 to 1,000 people at our games when we start at home on May 11th. We start at home on May 11th. We play 6 games in a row at home. Then we go back on the road again. So we end up with 6 home games in the month of May, a limited capacity. Fans will be required to wear facial coverings, a mask at the games. Whether we read all the different things that are coming out in the news every day. The CDC is recommended if you're outdoors, you've been vaccinated, you don't need a mask, but that doesn't affect our rules. We still will be asking people to wear a mask when they're at the game. The only time they can take off the mask is when they're actively eating a hot dog or something like that. So that's going to be one challenge. And with the limited, we're trying to go, we're encouraging people to pay with touchless payment process, ways to handle less cash, to limit the touch points with employees and fans when they're here. And a couple other things that COVID has done to impact us. Normally, when the team goes on the road, they would go on one bus. And then as part of the new protocols with Major League Baseball, even without COVID, they wanted us to start using 2 buses so the guys would have more room to spread out and be a little bit nicer travel for them. So we added a second bus, which obviously impacted the budget quite a bit. But then about 3 weeks ago, they got back to us and said, well, due to COVID, we really want to spread the guys out even more. So please add a 3rd bus. So now we're going to have 3 buses going to Hillsborough and Eugene and Spokane and different things like that. So you got a bus budget that pretty much quadrupled from about $50,000 to $200,000. Not to give you too much information, but that pretty much kills your bottom line at the end of the year right there. So and obviously the limited capacity really hurts us as well, but we'll get through it. We're excited to be playing baseball this year and look forward to being here forever and providing a great family alternative for entertainment at Funko Field. So with that, if I don't sound like Donald Duck, I'll pipe down and take some questions if you got any, or if not, I'll keep flapping my gums and tell you some more about what's going on.
Well, I have a question about the seating arrangements. You mentioned that groups can seat together. I'm assuming that would be families, for instance. But can 3 or 4 guys, friends, just show up that have been vaccinated and sit together, or do we all have to be 6 feet apart?
No, we're selling tickets in what everyone's calling pods of like 2, 4, and 6. So if you and a couple of your buddies would come out, you would be considered one group, and you would sit together. You would not be, you'd be 6 feet apart from the other group, okay. Any other groups around you. So we would, you're almost like your own. It's similar to going out to eat at a restaurant. If you went out to eat with Ken, you guys would sit at the table together and you'd be socially distanced from anyone else. Ken said he would never go to dinner with Don, but I looked at the first name. I could see that was next to Don.
Danny, I have a question, and this is potentially a bit of a hot button, so feel free not to answer it. What's your opinion on the discussions around changing the pacing of baseball generally by altering some of the rules?
I think that's not. I don't mind answering that.
Okay.
I don't think trying to make the game a little faster is a bad thing, because we don't need baseball games lasting 4 hours. In today's society, we all move a little quicker. And one thing, baseball has always been very reticent to change as compared to the other sports. The NFL is making changes to the rules every year, and people just accept it. In baseball, the traditionalists usually go nuts and don't like some of the things. I at first didn't like a couple of the rules they implemented that we started kind of as a test pilot, I guess, 2 or 3 years ago, where if we go to extra innings, we put a player on second base to start the inning. So you've got a guy in scoring position to start the inning. So it seemed a little hokey at first, but when you work in minor league baseball and a game goes 18 innings and you're playing at midnight and it's starting to rain and you've got 3 fans left in the ballpark and my manager's having to put out a catcher to pitch, then the game becomes a joke anyway. So any way they can kind of limit depleting their bullpen. I mean, we do have 30 guys on the roster and about seems like 20 of them are pitchers typically. That it's kind of funny that we run out of pitchers, but we do because these guys are young, they're being developed, they have pitch counts and pitch limits. So some of the rules I think are okay, and they're going to try some more new ones this year that are going to be rolled out at different levels of minor league baseball. Theo Epstein, who was the mastermind of Red Sox and the Cubs winning their World Series, has gotten involved and come up with he's worked with the committee to come up with some new ideas to try to speed it up a little bit. The players always seem to control that, and they ignore pitch clocks and timers that are trying to speed them up. They want to keep things the way it is. So hopefully that, there's always change. We're all resistant to change, but sometimes change is not a bad thing.
I want to congratulate you on the young people you have working. They're working the games in the summer. You seem to have really good kids, and now I'm going to sound like I'm bragging, but our youngest daughter about 20 years ago worked for the Sox at the games and had a marvelous time. She didn't want to miss any of the work or be late, so she got a lot of good work lessons from that. And our granddaughter's working this summer for the Sox.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
We're fortunate. We get a lot of high school students to come to work for us, and we really like it if they come to work for us when they're in 10th grade, because we end up having them for 3, 4, 5 years because they come back typically. Not playing last year kind of messed up our pipeline of employees, so we'll see how that goes, and we're still taking applications. So if you've got a son or daughter or grandson or daughter looking for a job, please have them get in touch or go on our website and look for the employment application. But yeah, we're very fortunate, and I've worked in baseball over 20 years in minor league baseball, and I've had a lot of people in the communities I've lived in. I'll talk to them, and they'll end up having their son or daughter come work for us, and it's always I really think it's a great first job. It teaches kids a work ethic. It teaches them about going to work, but it's a fun place to work, and they learn customer service. And most of the fans, when they come to the game, are pretty happy to be there because they're taking a 3-hour vacation. So the interaction between the fans and employees is pretty good. We always have a few challenging fans, but you're going to get those everywhere.
Well, you get
Lance, you have a question?
I thought I remembered reading something a month or so ago about changes that the AquaSox were now going to be the primary feeder for the Mariners and could bring. Am I remembering that right, or is there anything like changes from the Rainiers or something that I remember reading?
We are at a higher level, and so in the past we were basically the short season club meant we got the players right after they got drafted, straight out of high school or college. Now we're going to have players that have been playing minor league baseball 2 to 4 years, so they're more experienced, they're older, and where in the past it was Tacoma at AAA, Arkansas at AA, high A, low A, and then Everett. It's now Tacoma is AAA, high AA is in Arkansas, and then high single A is here in Everett. So our guys are just 3 steps away from the big leagues. So there's some prospects that are coming through that I think we're going to have this year. I don't have the official roster yet. They could change up until Tuesday really what they can do. But Julio Rodriguez is one of the top prospects in all of minor league baseball. It's a real good possibility that he will be here. George Kirby was their their top pick as a pitcher a couple of years ago out of my home state of Elon University back in North Carolina. He good chance he will be here again. And then some of the young guys who were here in 2019 playing for us will be back because now it's a couple years later and they'll be back. So some of them that played in Everett when we were in what was called the Northwest League will now be back to play in what is generically called the High A West League at the moment. So yeah, we're much closer to the big leagues here. So we're excited about that. And you know, we're very happy to be with the Mariners when you got T-Mobile Park only 27 miles from home plate to home plate. So Mariners enjoy having us here, and we try to make sure they want to stay here for as long as we can keep them.
Can I just have a real quick question?
Sure.
So I'm a Spanish teacher at the high school, and I'm very passionate about our players that are Spanish speaking. Is there any way I can get in contact with them to have them talk to my students?
They could probably do something via Zoom.
That's what we would do.
I would say contact my media person. Her name is Sarah Newgard. If you go on our website, you can find her. She's
Thank you.
Yep, she'd be your best bet. And Kristen, it would be something. Reach out to her. It might take a little while to set it up. We'd have to communicate with the guys, but we could probably work that out.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Sure.
Oh, I have to say, my brother is gonna be pretty jealous because he's a huge AquaSox fan. He's special needs, but he's been going to the AquaSox games for like the last 10 years, and he buys like small season ticket packages. So,
is your brother Zach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's him. So he's gonna be jealous. So I'm gonna make sure I tell him this when I'm done. So
Tell him I said hi.
I will tell him that. Yeah.
Well, Danny, thanks for being with us today. That's really great information. I love going to the AquaSox games. Those are fun. Really great baseball right here in our backyard, which is really awesome. And Brian, thanks for your classification talk. That was fantastic. God, what a great meeting. So anything else for the good of the order? Danny, we'll make a $25 donation in your name to the Dolly Parton Imagination Library for children's books. And thank you for being with us. And thanks for arranging that, Don. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, I'll close the meeting. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.